Hello everyone, we are going to talk about multiplying polynomials. Whenever you multiply polynomials, you're going to use the distributive property, you're going to use your exponent rules, and sometimes you need to combine like terms after you do such. So, distributive property is given right here, A, and then set of parentheses, and inside of it is B plus C. I'm going to take that A and I'm going to multiply it to B, and I'm going to multiply it to C, to where I end up with A times B plus A times C. That's the distributive property. And then your exponent rules, mainly your product rules that you're going to be dealing with. So, examples, multiply. I have a monomial, a negative 3x, times a binomial, 2x plus 5. Mono meaning 1, there's only one term. Bi meaning 2, 2 terms. So, and I color coded it to help us be able to see the distributive property. I'm going to take that negative 3x and I'm going to multiply it to both terms inside that set of parentheses. Remember with math, what you do to one thing you always have to do to the other. So I just can't say a negative 3x times 2x and that's it. I have to do it to everything inside those parentheses. So a negative 3x times 2x, negative 3x times 2x, a negative 3x times 5, a negative 3x times 5. This turns into a negative 6x squared. See, same basis, x to the 1, x to the 1. Product rule, I add the basis, so I get x squared. And negative 3x times 5 is the negative 15x. So what I would ask you is to pause the video and work the remaining examples to make sure that it's a negative sign there. This is 3x times, in the parentheses, 2x squared minus x plus 4. This is a negative, set of parentheses, x squared minus 4. This is 2y squared minus 4, and all of this squared. Okay, so for my first one, I'm going to take that 3x and I'm going to distribute it. This is a monomial, this is a trinomial, 3 terms. So I'm going to take that 3x and I'm going to multiply it to all of those terms inside that set of parentheses. 3x times 2x squared plus 3x times a negative x plus 3x times 4. This gives me 6x cubed plus, or how about I just, instead, I don't like that plus a negative number. I just like writing minus 3x squared plus 12x. And if you look at this, you look at what I have right here, 2x squared minus x plus 4. Well, I increased everything by the value of x, so that becomes x cubed, that becomes x squared, that becomes an x. And then I took each coefficient and I multiplied it by 3, or and constant. So 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 4 is 12. And all my signs stayed the same that were in my trinomial in my final answer because I didn't multiply by a negative. With this one here, I understand just this negative sign to be a negative 1, so I'm going to distribute a negative 1 through there. And anytime you multiply through by a negative 1, what it does is it flips the signs. So that's what I'm left with. This one here, I work it just like I showed you originally with exponents. I just rewrite this as this. And y'all probably know the FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last. That's absolutely fine. Otherwise, all you're doing is distributing. The first thing I'm going to distribute is this. I'm going to multiply everything by 2y squared. So I end up with 4y to the 4th minus 8y squared. And then I'm going to do this one. Whoops, let me include that negative sign. The sign always goes, that's in front of the term, always goes with the term. I'm going to multiply everything by that. Negative 4 times 2y squared is a negative 8y squared, and a negative 4 times a negative 4 is 16. Combine like terms, y squared and y squared, I need to combine those, so I end up with 4y to the fourth minus 16y squared plus 16. If I did it with FOIL, first 2y squared times 2y squared, that was first. Outer, see, that's what I did here. I said I had this. Outer is negative 8y squared. Inner, see, I'm doing the same thing. That's just where they came up with that acronym for you to do. And then last, same thing. Alright, let's look at let's look at an example and then work a problem. Because instead of multiplying through by a monomial, we're going to have a binomial with a trinomial. And if you look at the example, what I did was I color coded it so that way you could see my distributive property. What I did was I took this x and I distributed it to all three terms first. So x times x squared, right there. X times a negative 3x, x times a negative 3x, and x times 7, x times 7. And then I distributed the negative 2. Got to have that negative with that 2. So a negative 2 times x squared, negative 2 times x squared, a negative 2 times a negative 3x, a negative 2 times a negative 3x, and a negative 2 times 7, a negative 2 times 7. I multiplied them together. X times x squared is x cubed. This becomes a negative 3x squared, 7x, a negative 2x squared, 6x, negative 14. Then you combine like terms. What I do is I put a light line through it. First I say, okay, I got x cubed, and I go through here and I see if I have any other x cubes. Nope. And I put my line through it and I rewrite it x cubed. I say, okay, x squared, and I go through and I got 1. So a negative 3x squared plus a negative 2x squared, that's a negative 5x squared. So I put a line through them. Negative 5x squared is what I write down. Then my next one, x. Do I have another x? Yes. So I have 7x plus 6x. Add them together, get 13x, and I put a line through them. And then I only have one constant, a negative 14, and there it is. This is my answer. So if you would like, pause the video, work the problem right there, and let's see if we get the same answers. Okay. I'm going to take my x and distribute it to all three terms in that trinomial. So I'm going to have x times x squared plus x times 5x plus x times a negative 8 plus, now I'm going to do my 3. I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to distribute it to all three terms. 3 times x squared plus 3 times 5x plus 3 times a negative 8. This becomes x cubed. This becomes 5x squared minus 8x plus 3x squared plus 15x minus 24. Now combine like terms. So I have an x cubed, no other cubes in there. So I put a line through it, x cubed. X squared, so that is 5x squared plus 3x squared, which gives me 8x squared. X's, I have a negative 8x and 15x, so that gives me 17x, and then minus 24. And there's my answer. And that is multiplying polynomials. Okay guys, good luck on multiplying your polynomials.